Hi there, friends. It's Ashley with my Homeschool Brain, and this is where you get to pick all the juicy tidbits out of my brain and do what you want to with them. So today's lesson is lesson planning in itself. How do you do it? What do you do? Where can I find resources? All of those good things. So here we go. There are lots of places to find homeschool planning systems. You can buy a store-bought or from online actual planner that's pre-laid out for you, and you fill in all your good bits. Happy Planner, I think, makes one. I could be wrong there. Erin Condren, I know a lot of people revamp their Erin Condrens to work for homeschool. I don't know if you still have to do that or if she now has a homeschool planner. I'm pretty sure she does, but I could be, again, wrong on that one. I don't use them, so I'm not really knowledgeable. The Plum Paper Planner has a homeschool section that you can add to customize your planner. So where you have a regular planner in front and then a homeschool section in the back, or it can be divided into the months, I think. You can get out on many homeschool blogs, and there are printables that you can download, sometimes for free, sometimes it's just your email, sometimes it's paid, and just kind of go from there. Or you can use more of a bullet journal style system, which is what I do. I have to disclose some of my little faux pas. So normally I use the bullet journal system of some sort. This year I decided to do something a little different and to make a bunch of printables and keep it in a 3-ring binder. But I found that it is not going to work for me. It is way too bulky. It takes up way too much room on my desk, and I didn't like it. So I then went back to my bullet journal, and I got a regular open flat journal. And I didn't like that either because, again, it has to be open flat. It doesn't fold very well. So I went to Walmart and I picked this dot grid notebook or journal, but it's spiral. And so I can literally open it flat on my desk, and I am in love because I can lay it flat. I can stick it in my purse. I can tuck it on just see one side or the other, which is exactly what I needed. So I'm going to kind of walk you through how I have my planner set up, and then how I plan my entire year, and then how I execute that plan on a monthly basis. So this year I've decided to work kind of back to front. Normally I start everything in the front and work my way back, and for whatever reason this year I decided to switch it up. Kind of goes with my faux pas theme this year on lesson planning. So the front half of the book is my actual daily or weekly planner for school and my personal life. And then the back half has all my very specific details. So I'm going to start in the middle, work my way backwards, and then come back to the front and work my way to the middle. I know that sounds really confusing, but give me some grace. Bear with me here a minute. Okay. So I have these little tabs. These tabs, these long white ones, I was able to pick up at the Dollar Tree, and I got, I don't know, 30 of them maybe for $1, which was really great. And then these other ones, the colored ones, I picked up at Walmart a long time ago. I don't know how much they run right now, but they're colored, and so they make it bright and fun. So let's start at the very middle of my book here, and I'll tell you kind of how I had this laid out. I have started the prior to systems this year. I have both handwritten things. I also have printables, and I had to find a way to not rewrite everything. And so I just photocopied a lot of stuff, or took my printables and cut them out and taped them in. So it looks a little messy, but I actually kind of like it. I think it brings character. So anyway, here's our family mission statement. The second step is goal planning for my kids. The next thing on our list is our wish list, and that covers curriculum, homeschool supplies, homeschool room like decorations or projects that I want to do, And I have that separated into half sheets. Just drew a line. And let me just tell you right now, I am not a fancy bullet journal person, and you don't have to be either. This is as decorative as I get, and that was just me goofing around. So you don't have to keep up with those people who are amazing and draw beautifully and spend hours doing theirs. I do not. So you'll see throughout my system is very simple and minimalistic, and I love it. So here is the sections I have for my wish list. I have extras. My extras are your extracurricular activities or books that maybe don't really fit in with a specific curriculum, but you just think are really awesome to have or really want to focus on, or maybe that's something you want to create a homeschool curriculum on your own based on that book, that sort of thing. And then I have math, language arts, writing, books for kids and books for mom, games, art. And art is not just drawing, but it's anything in the arts field, music and that sort of thing too. History, sciences, and room supplies. And so I just make a list, a running list all year long of all those things that I would love to have. That way, if I'm planning for next year and I'm like, oh man, what was that curriculum I really liked? Or where was that website? Or, why is it that I liked that one? So here under each category, you'll have like the name of the curriculum that you liked for whatever reason, the website you can find it at, and maybe even why you liked it. So you don't have to go back and watch 3 hours of YouTube videos unless you want to. You don't have to, because you have your own notes right in that moment. So that wraps up our wish list section. Next, I keep attendance. Now, our state isn't heavy on the attendance. We don't have to report it and stuff every year, but I definitely like to keep track of mine every year. Not just a rough idea, but I like to track how many days. I aim for that 180-day mark every year. Doesn't always happen, but that's my goal. And so it is very simply done. I literally just write the months there, and under each month, I just write the days we actually did school. And I went ahead and finished out this week just for this video purposes. So August, I did it all these days. It was a total of 17 days, which is a running total of 17, excuse me. September, those are all the days we have done in September, which is a total of 22 days, which is a running total of 39. And I just keep track of it this way. Next, we have grades. Now, I can make a whole video on why we don't grade everything, but for this video, I just want to kind of keep it short and tell you that we only grade tests and big projects. So for that layout, it is super simple. Child's name up at the top and lesson, and then I drew these little boxes here to cover. We only grade for spelling, math, and language arts, which is our projects basically. And then I just write the item number on the side, what the grade was, and then of course they each have their own. So at the end of the year, I can easily total up and kind of figure out where we are academically. The next tab will not pertain to you necessarily. I do have an 8th grader who is in public school, and so I keep all of his school information there. The school's name, phone number, his schedule, his lunchtime, his student ID, all that just is right there handy, so I have my fingertips all the time. The next page is our schedules and daily plan. So our schedule is a little different. A lot of schools do semesters, or different types of homeschoolers do like unit study blocks. We do trimesters. And the reason for that is because my husband's in construction and we travel home a lot to do mandatory meetings and such. We know that there is 1 month out of every year that is required that we are home for such things, and that is the first week of December, and then we have Christmas right after that. Right before that was Thanksgiving, and then you have the New Year's, and there's birthdays in there, and so that middle part of the school year is kind of this cluster of, on and off again. Our 3 trimesters are as follows: August 7th through November 1st, November 2nd through February 28th, which is that weird little chunk there, and March 1st through when we're done with school, which is usually towards the end of May, sometimes the 1st of June. So it just kind of depends on how that goes. And then our daily plan is not a schedule necessarily of like timed schedule. It is our loop scheduling. So Monday, we do school 5 days a week. We follow more of a traditional school year because of my oldest being in public school. We do like to be able to have most of the bigger holidays that he's off, we're off too. So that kind of forces us a little bit more into that box. So Monday through Thursday, we do our language arts or grammar and our spelling and our math. We do those things 4 days a week, every week. Then the rest of the week, we do different things on different days. So here's our loop schedule. On Mondays, we do Bible, journal, and photography. Tuesdays, we do science and unit study. Wednesday is our GUS, which is a character building curriculum that I created a long time ago, which is Growing Up Strong, and our typing. And I have switched that just a little bit. We've separated typing between the 2 kids on 2 days. It just makes it easier. But in theory, Wednesdays is typing. Thursdays is history and geography, and Fridays is our literature and themes day. And you might be wondering, what's the difference between a unit study and a theme? For our house, we do 2 major unit studies a year. The first half of this year, we're doing health and fitness. The second half, we're going to do astronomy and space. Our themes are basically mini unit studies. So every month I have a theme and I have a quote of the month. And that just kind of gives us these little smaller projects that we get to do, and it's really fun, and I have them all planned out. They're great. The next thing on my sheet here is our curriculum choices with ISBN numbers. So if it has an ISBN number attached to it, I include it. It's very important. But what curriculum are you using? What's the ISBN, and for which child? Most of our subjects are grouped together. The only things that we do separately is our spelling word list and our math. Everything else we do together as a group, because my kids are 15 months apart. So come on over. So they often will just be learning the same things virtually. The next thing in my list here in my tabs are our individual subjects. And here is where it gets a little crazy and a little fun. I pre-plan my entire school year flat out at the beginning. I don't ever have to plan for what are we going to do next week or what are we going to do tomorrow for school, because I literally just check off the list, the next thing on that list, and just go with it. So because I've had a couple little faux pas with my planner this year, I have some in printable form, I have some handwritten, and I have some photocopied from the other journal. So I will show you kind of how I incorporate all this together, and it does look a little messy, but you know what? I really am liking this system, and I think that this is what I will do every year from now on. I'm super excited about it. So we'll cover our history first because that's the first thing, and it's not in any particular order. It's just the way I had put it in my book. So this year for history, we are learning the order of the presidents through this really great story. I'm sure I've talked about it before, on the alien named Wash, which is Uncle Dave's story of the presidents from a guy on YouTube. I'll link his original YouTube video that I've created this on. What I've done is I have taken all the presidents and decided, okay, how often do I want to teach history? Well, I want to teach it once a week. So I have to get all the presidents into 36 weeks. And so I literally just typed 1 through 36 and started filling in based on that story. So Waj and Eminem, and that may not make sense to you for presidents, but once you watch that story, you'll understand why. But I've got that all broke down here. We are learning the states from California to Maine in the order on the map, not in alphabetical order. So I have that again listed 1 through 36 because we do 36 weeks of school, and what states are we going to learn what week. And I have, this is where my genius comes in. They have the mini notebooks or the mini 3-ring binders that you can get at Walmart. They have sheet protectors for those. And I had some at the house, so I literally just taped them in, and I taped the back flap down. So I've just made these little clear pockets in my spiral book. And I will just fold my paper in half, slide it in its little pockets, and then it is really pretty and organized and protected. And when I do my lesson plan monthly, I pull all these out, which is these, and I work in the front of the book, and I'll show you all that in a minute. I do that for every single curriculum that we have picked for this year. So we have our states and our presidents. That watch story, I typed it up and I put it here. So if we travel, I don't ever have to like re-watch the video 10,000 times. I should have it memorized by now, but I don't just yet. I'm pretty close though. So I just printed it up and made it nice and easy to just grab and read out loud. So I have revamped my system, which is a totally different video. And I have created a phonics and spelling or grammar system based off of the Logic of English flashcards. You'll just have to go with me on this. So what I've done was I have pre-planned all of those by week, what flashcards we're going to use that week. I printed them up. This is my checklist for that. Then I went in and I created a spelling list based on the phonics, the phonogram sounds that they are teaching on. We are teaching for each individual week. I created that. I printed that as well. And all of those will just get folded in half and tucked in. And when I'm doing my monthly layout, I literally just pull these out and check and go. Same thing with themes. Here's our list of themes based on the month, and I just pull those out. So, again, this is where it gets a little tricky because I had started that other journal and I didn't want to rewrite everything. And so I literally photocopied it and taped it in instead of rewriting it. Look, I'm going with what I got here. I am working within my brain capacity to its fullest and trying to bring everything together. And sometimes it looks a little crazy, but I really kind of like the system. The next thing I have, so I have one tab for each subject that we're teaching. In the next section, I have our read-alouds, and I told you that our goal is to read 30 minutes a day, and it's just random books. And I don't always pre-plan our books because then I find, oh, I found a new book and I want to do that one instead. So I'm just keeping a track of the books that we are reading aloud as a family together. And then I have created not really a system for photography, but it's more like just for fun and kind of learning how to use the camera. And so I've created a photography class, and I just made a list of everything we're going to photograph for the entire year. And finally, my kids are on a bowling league, and so I have their schedule of bowling here. So on any given point in time, all of my brain, of my lessons, of my plans, of my future progress the entire year is right here in front of me.
And we are starting to get really good at bowling. Yeah.
Yes, we are. We're getting better and better and better at bowling.
Every single day.
Every single day. So let me show you how I incorporate either my handwritten lessons for the year and my printables for the year, and how I break that down on a weekly basis, but I only do it once a month. And it just so happens that we're at a transition to a new month. So first, let me explain how I have my planner laid out. It is a 2-page planner. And on one side has all of our lessons for the entire week. The back half is my mom to-do list, my school to-do list. This little section is my appointments and my errands with my dinner menus included. It works for me, man. I wake up in the morning, I come downstairs, come to our little classroom area, open my book and go, oh, we're having spaghetti for dinner. I need to go set out hamburger. Or, oh, I've got to get my tags done this week or whatever. And it's all right here in front of me. My lists are not a daily to-do. It is what I need to get done this week. Not in any particular order, just as my brain dumps it onto paper. And if I don't get it done, I just move it to next week unless it's, time stamped or something. But I just keep moving it until it finally gets off my list because I'm tired of rewriting it. And it works for me. But I don't like the daily stuff. I don't like writing down every day. It's time consuming and I don't like it. So I don't like doing it every week necessarily, but for functional bullet journal, this size paper, it's what it has to be. So I will show you then how I incorporate this system. I have a fundamental layout of what my sheets will look like I really just focus on the homeschool side. And so I have this tore out. It's just in the front, and I keep this for my template. So Monday is Bible, journal, math for both kids, grammar and spelling, story time, independent reading and cursive. Tuesday, science, photography, math, grammar and spelling, story time, independent reading and cursive. You're following me here. Gus and typing is on there for Wednesday. Thursday is history and geography. Friday is our literature. And then I put my spelling words for each kid each week and our grammar rules that we're learning. This is my template. So I get this out every month when I go to do my monthly planning. That way I don't have to remember what is it we're doing on what day. Like, it's right here. I just copy it. And so for this particular week, it is filled out, but it is blank at the same time. So I literally just put in my errands and appointments, my to-dos, and because I started this YouTube channel, I've added a YouTube to-do list, which I'm pretty excited about. And then the day of the week, the date, the main subjects we do on each day, and then I've left this blank because I haven't got to that just yet. And so then what I do is, and I do 4 of these because it's typically 4 weeks in a month. And so I just make this 4 times. Now that I have all 4 weeks laid out, which by the way, that took me, I started it before the kids got up. I worked on it a little bit while the kids were doing some independent work, and I finished it up right after the kids got done with school. And it might have taken me 30 minutes to redo all of this for 4 times for 4 weeks. It didn't take that long. It was just kind of broken up today. So then what I'll do is I will take all of my printed stuff. And so for this example is our phonics and our grammar. And I'm literally going to write those things in. Because it's the spelling and grammar, I do keep it all right here. I write spelling words, writer, spelling words, Molly, and all the words for the week, and then our grammar rules. So this week, I will literally write grammar rules and sentence types, statement and command, rule number 6, which is a flashcard, and the phonics sound ARR. And that was what we will teach from this week. And so I will write it there, and I will write the next week's and the next week's and the next week's on the next 3 pages. So I'll have all 4 of the grammar and spelling done, and I can fold it back up and put it back in its place, and that one is done. And I do that for all of my printables. Our spelling word, that's there. And I pull them all out and I put them. This is why I'm thinking this plan is genius, because you'll see where it gets like a little flip-floppy here in a minute, or it can be flip-floppy. I'm loving this. So I think I'm going to do this again after next year. Now, for the subjects that I physically wrote in or I photocopied and glued in or taped in, I grabbed just a piece of paper and I wrote down those subjects and the lesson. So the first week of October, I wrote Gus, Bible, Science, and Photography, because those are the ones that are written in my journal, and then what those lessons are. So I've got them all pre-written right here. And then I will literally just go in and fill out my layout. And It is super simple. So I'll go in and write Bible and the 2 lessons. Journal, math for Ryder and Molly. I don't write lessons for those because it's a very turn-go system. Either teaching textbooks, just click the next lesson, or it's Saxon 3, we just turn the page. And so I don't get that detailed with those 2 things. Same thing with the grammar and spelling. Since I write it over down here, I don't write what we're doing. It's repetitive. I do write test on Thursday because we do our spelling tests on Thursdays. So that I do get specific with. But like our Gus, I'll just literally write in this week's character is flexibility. And the Bible verse. And I just write it in next to it. It's now explained. I don't have to think about it again. I don't have to flip through my book. I don't have to pull out any pages. It's all right there handled. Science, we're doing chapter 9. Pretty simple. Wrote it down, took 3 seconds. But I'll go through and I'll fill in all the pieces that I need to. And this whole process takes me about, like I said, 30 minutes to prep, to do my layout. And then I'd say another 20 minutes or so to just fill everything in. So I spend like basically 1 hour a month, and I plan my entire month based on my pre-planning of the entire year. It's really a functional system once you kind of get the hang of it. I think I make it sound a little crazy, but it works for my brain. I don't do more than a month at a time because you never know what's going to happen on any given month. And if we get behind or have to miss a day for something, that works really well. So I'll give you an example. This week, my mommy's coming to visit me, and she'll be here Thursday night. So we will do regular school Monday through Thursday, just like regular.
And her dog is not coming.
Her big dog's not coming. Her little dog's coming. So I want to go ahead and do some of our things for Friday during the week. So I will take, since we do our reading street, which is a textbook that we use, our reading comp, which is literally the closed-ended questions. Read a paragraph, I answer some questions. I found a bunch of free printables online. I printed them all up. I bound them together. And so we turn the page and go, which is why they don't have a lesson number next to them. So I went ahead and had the kids do these 2 things already today on Tuesday. That way those 2 things are done for the week. We will still do our independent reading and our story time on Friday. And we will do our theme, which my kids have been saving the theme all year or all month because they knew GAM was coming. And we're going to make dinosaur fossils. And so we're going to do that project with my mom. But assume for a minute that you've had to miss Monday because you had to go get your tags done or something crazy. You can either shift everything back and rewrite everything or redate everything, or in order to get the lessons in, you can just do your Bible and your journal on Tuesday and do an extra math on Wednesday. Do maybe on the day that on Monday you were busy, maybe go ahead and have them just do their spelling that day. And cursive, if you don't get to it, you don't get to it. Otherwise, move it to Wednesday. That way the assignments are getting done and the hours are being put in. Just maybe on not that day intended, but that also means that next week is not thrown off because you went ahead and did the assignments. You just broke them into smaller assignments throughout and spread them out through the week. It really does make the world a better place when mom is not having to rewrite things 36,000 times. So it really does make the system work. So then now I will just fill out the next 4 weeks. And then once I have actually taught the lesson, so now we're at the next month and I am starting to do my layout again. I will reflect back to the prior month and say, okay, we actually did all these lessons. And then I will highlight them at that point off of this or check it off. So like right now, I'm obviously planning for next month. And so I haven't checked weeks 6 and 7 off yet because I have taught them, but I haven't pre-planned for the following month. So since I'm doing that now, as I go in and I'm writing down my new grammar and spelling, I'm going to check off the ones we've done. I don't check them off first because what if I don't get to it and then my whole thing's off? So I only check them off after we've done them. And the same thing towards the back with those handwritten ones. We are now, we're fixing to start week 9. And so I've only highlighted to week 8 on any given thing. And so next month when I start November's, I will then go back in and mark off everything we did in October. And it just keeps me focused in on where I have gotten off track or when I've gotten off track. Am I on time on everything? Did I accidentally do 2 assignments and I'm ahead on something? So this month we don't have to do that. I mean, it just kind of keeps me accountable, I guess. So that is my basic system. I'm hoping that it was not completely overwhelming and stressful and crazy to watch, but welcome to my crazy, and I'll see you next time.